Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review of The Slow Rush by Tame Impala. I'm going to be doing a more traditional review today, so just go over some things that I've heard as I've been listening to this album over the past year, and things that I liked, things that I didn't like, things that I wish the album had, etc. So The Slow Rush came out a little earlier this year, I think January or February. And that was after a 4.5-year hiatus from the band since their last album, Currents. Now, Currents was awesome. I loved Currents. Songs like Eventually and Let It Happen and Yes, I'm Changing. It just really cemented the band's shift towards more pop-oriented music as the right move for me. So I came in listening to The Slow Rush with expectations that it would hit the same highs as Currents did, and sure enough it did, but unfortunately there were also some lows that were hit along the way. If you guys could, please like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it. It really helps out the channel, and with that we'll just get right into the review. So the album opens up with a really strong note on One More Year. It really sets the dancey tone for the rest of the album and continues to explore some of the pop tendencies that Currents brought with it. I'm not sure if this album beats Currents for me, especially with some of the great songs that I loved off of Currents. But anyway, after the first song, the album drags for a little bit. The two songs, Instant Destiny and Borderline, I just really don't care much for. I actually consider them to be two of the weakest songs in the album. Instant Destiny just has this vibe that I don't really connect with. It almost feels like a fake swagger or something. I don't really know how to explain it. Borderline is just really repetitive for me, especially considering that I don't care for the theme that it's repeating. So those two songs just, kind of don't do it for me. And they don't really have much of an emotional pull, which is a big deal for me when it comes to music. Don't get me wrong, they're groovy. They groove a decent amount, but that's just not enough when it comes to music sometimes. So as the album moves into the next song, it starts off with the same disappointing feel as the last two, but then it really moves into something different, and from that point on, the album really takes a turn for the better. The breakdown in Posthumous Forgiveness is just excellent, really cool, and it really propels the album into just excellent moment after excellent moment from there on, at least for a little while. But yeah, that song really pulled me back in as far as listening to the album goes. The next one, Breathe Deeper, it's really catchy and the whole thing just really grooves. The verses are pretty repetitive, which some people might find annoying, but in this case, I actually enjoyed the repetition because I enjoyed the theme that it was going for, especially the vocal melody over that groove. I really enjoyed that. And the choruses in the song are just as catchy and really work for me. The keys are just excellent. And the choruses are awesome. They're really fun and they're really catchy in this song. And the end of the song morphs into a pretty awesome bass synth solo. And that kind of rides you out to the end of the song and into the next one, which is Tomorrow's Dust. Now, this is my favorite song on the album, and it might actually be one of my favorite songs by Tame Impala up to this point. The uplifting fingerpick guitars just go over this sheet of synth strings and a propelling beat that pushed the song forward, and Kevin's hushed vocals just really lock this song in for me as one that I really enjoy. And in the chorus, the vocals make use of repetition, which is kind of a theme throughout the album. Kevin does a lot of repeating vocal lines, which most of the time they're pretty good vocal lines, and I enjoy it, especially in this song. The next song is On Track, which opens up with a pretty piano ballad, and then just a nice groove for the rest of the song. And this is one of those songs where you feel Kevin and the band, which I'm pretty sure is just Kevin. I think he plays all the instruments. At least that was the case at one point. I'm not sure if he still does it that way. But you just feel the musicians in a real groove and in a state of flow. And you can really connect with it and feel just how special Kevin Parker is as a musician and as a songwriter. So now the next bit of songs is where there's another dip in quality in the album for me. That starts off with Lost in Yesterday, which feels a little less unique than the rest of the album. It has a more generic feel and also a more generic song structure. It's not a bad song. It just doesn't really hit the mark like the other songs on the album do. It Might Be Time is another underwhelming song for me. Like I said, it's not bad. It's just nothing special. And not every song has to be life-changing on an album, but when you get into the territory of 3 consecutive songs that just don't really hit the mark, then you're really downgrading the album as a whole. Glimmer is mostly an instrumental, and it's a pretty short little song that pulls you into the end of the album. It's catchy enough, but at this point we're about 15 minutes straight of underwhelming music on an album that's just under an hour long. So that's pretty significant, and that doesn't even count the beginning of the album, you know, Instant Destiny and Borderline. The album closes out on a really strong note, though, I have to say. The music on One More Hour leaves you hanging for about 3 minutes, but then it's finally pushed over the edge by some dissonant synth hits, and then you know, it hits a bombastic breakdown with some drum hits that really just pulled the song into a special place. I just love the buildup of tension, and then the tension resolves back into the verse, and then you kind of ride that back out on a different drum beat till the end of the song, and it really serves as a peaceful resolution to the album, and I'm glad that it ended on such a good note. Overall, I really enjoyed this album, but I would have preferred a shorter, more focused effort. I feel like when it's good, it's great, and then when it's not so good, you can expect that to last for a little while. You know, for example, that 15-minute stretch there at the end of the album where nothing special really happens. And those really do a disservice to the album as a whole. You know, you really have to take that into consideration. Now, on the other hand, some of the tracks like Tomorrow's Dust and On Track really elevate the album as a whole. So I guess things kind of balance out there in terms of quality. You know, a lot of ups and downs on this thing, but it's definitely worth the ride to listen to the whole album. And who knows when it'll be, you know, hopefully it's not another 4.5 years before Tame Impala puts something else out, but I just really want to hear more from Kevin Parker and to hear what he's got for us next. So ups and downs considered, this is a pretty good album. I think I'd give it a 7 out of 10, which is also what I gave it when I reviewed it on my Instagram page a few months ago. My feelings haven't really changed that much since that time. So thanks for watching, you guys. I really appreciate you checking out the review. And if you enjoyed it, if you could just like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this, I'd really appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this album and what you think of the review. Have some healthy discussion around it. Oh, and also let me know what albums you guys think I should review next. I'll definitely take a look at those suggestions and try to pick something. But I'll see you guys in the next video, and thanks for watching.